Part 11. Hunting with Borges. Nobody in this business is so good at that her can use help. I will take all the help I can give, and I will pay whatever it is worth to get it. I have already given you some idea of how much money I spend on direct mail to my project list. Though there are thousands of names on that list are my prime projects. I don't buy that list. I don't depend on what some chemical mail order list company thinks are my projects. I built my own list, name by name. It was a gradual process, so I could always afford what it cost to reach those people. Because of the mailing helped to bring them back, and that has earned me more than enough to continue using this method to build business. But as I said before, it is an investment. That means that I have to pay my share of a mailing cost upfront before the funds from the mailing are harvested. But as I print it out, I get something else besides valuable goodwill from my mailings. I recruit new products, and I remind that others that I am still here, ready to pay for sales. Maybe you don't use the name products, but whatever you call them, they are people who spend other people to me by acres, and I pay them other sales approach, but not until they are sold. So the money I pay to Borges, about 28,000 a year. It's not an investment. It does not go up front. It's a cost of sales, but in my tax bracket and in the bracket of anybody who really devotes himself to Borges a personal salesman. The 50 USD I pay out of the sale already, the hand of cost me only 25 USD, because the other world have gone to the government as income tax. There are a lot of dealers who pay half of money due the Borges, but dealer does not pay anything to me or to any other salesman. I pay the entire 50 USD to 25 from and me, Uncle Sam. I have very strict rule about paying Borges. I pay them. I don't sell them. I don't try to them out of the money of the sales temporarily. I pay them. Suppose a person sends somebody with my cards and forgets to write his name of the backup customer does not maintain that somebody spent him after the sale. I will probably got a call from a person asking, "How come you don't spend me the money when you sold String, Sonis and Imperial?" And I still him, "I am sorry, your name is not on the card of Jones, do not say anything to me. So come on by this afternoon and pick the money. It's a warning for you, but next time put your time on the card so I can get the money to your picker. Keep your promise. They all love you for it." Point is that when you have told people you will pay them for a sale, you have made them a promise. You have given them your word. If you serve them, you become a liar and a cheater. Try that on to 50 people and see what happens. Wait a minute. You see, what if the guy stabbed you? What if he did not really send Jones in? My answer is that this cloud happens once in a while, but not very often, because just about everybody who is likely to be bidding is in my files. And even if somebody did stab me for 25 out of my picker and the another 25 out of Uncle Sam's, I still earn a good commissions on the sale. And if the guy tells anybody else about it, he is probably going to say, "What a great guy I am." and that's a word at least 25. But the reason I am such a stop task is not that I especially like to give away money. It's because the risk of not paying somebody who really earned the money is just too big. When I log the audits, I figure it's the better to pay the breeding fee to 50 guys who did not earn if them not to pay if you on guy who did earn it. Maybe even 100 to 1. I told you that I paid out 28,000 to breedings last year. That means I get about 550 sales or about on out every year from my breeders. They sent me business that made me 150,000 in commission, and that business cost me 28,000. That is what I consider a pretty fair exchange, especially when you figure that most of this was extra business that I would not have got all without paying for it. How I get them and keep them. Everybody can be your breedings. The process started for me with the question, when do I know that would like to get 50 for sending me a sale? I don't know any Rockefellers, but I know some people who earn pretty big money, and I cannot think of anybody I know who would not be glad to pick up an extra 50 for sending me a customer. I once paid a fee to be brain struggling whose biggest money problem is strong aid, and I have several ministers who send me a lot of 50 businesses. When I make a sale and the customer takes delivery of his car, all this will be decided in detail is spread characters. The last thing I do as a driver's out is put a strike of my business's cards along with the honor that explains my redox agreement in the glove compartment of a card. A few days later, when he gets my thing you card, he also gets another strike of cards. He is now a breeder. He is also on my mailing list, so at least once a year he gets a mailing that includes my breeder recruiting kit as a reminder that my offers is still good. A certified customer is obviously an easy, secure and other businesses. If my deal was good enough for him, it ought be good for his friends and his relatives and his to figure. That goes anybody, but when I find that my customer is somebody who is a leader, somebody that other people listen to, I make an extra effort to make him a good deal and recommend him as a breeder. If I meet somebody who is a shop standard or a local opinion president, I know I am telling to somebody who was a large influence over other opinion officers as well in membership. He is somebody who is a particle, he tells a lot of people and he wants them to like him so they vote for him. In a way, he is in some solution that I am and that inner in. He is a kind of salesman. He is on field selling himself, which is after all what we have to do, no matter how good our products and our price are. So when I run into anybody like that, I recognize that he growth a lot of effort, because if it tired him well, is very hard for me. He gets to good deal from me. He will work hard for me because he will be working hard to himself. He will be trying to give his supporters a good deal, so he will spend them unto me so that I can do from them what I did him. If you work something like that properly, you get fantastic leverage from it. It's like extending yourself in hundreds of different directions. Sometimes people want to take money from me for sending me sales. It bothers them for a lot of reasons. In some cases, they really are grateful to me for giving them a good deal on their own car. So they, I think, have done use of them and they are glad to send me other people to me. A few of those people even returned the 50 check when I sent it to them. If they do, I call them and empathize for whatever is bothering them. But that does not happen too often. You can beat because 50 is 50. There are some problems with paying people cash. In some places it's against the law. I am not a lawyer, so I do not know the full extent of those laws. But I do know it's a lot of players you can give people gifts or free service where you cannot give them cash. I don't want to be recommending anything that could cause you break the law. So if you want to have effective breeddogs and you can't pay cash, you had better find to earn yourself what you can do legally in the area where you do businesses. What is necessary is developing a big and effective system of breeddogs is to make it where they're well. I have found that 50 or its equipment and this is the minimum amount that will work on most people. Less than that, there will only be a trickle of extra businesses, but I do not want people to feel guilty about getting paid for doing me a favor. I want them to feel renowned and I want them to feel obligated, but I don't want them to feel guilty. Mostly they don't, though it's so is not a big problem. When to pay if they won't take cash. When people tell me that they don't want to be paid cash for sending me sales, I handle it a different way. If somebody is sent by a breeding, I make it practice to for the breeding and thank him, and I tell him that I am putting his 50 check the mail. If he says he's not allowed to accept money because of some emperor rule or any other reasons, I will tell him that I would not like to do something else nice for him. Then I cannot a good recommend of directions where I know the management. I ask them to send my breedog and card entering him to and his wife to by my guest for dinner. Or if he is not sure who would like that, I send him a note telling him he can breeding card our place or certain amount of free services. I offer these ideas to you as ways to getting around whatever legal or other problems you may have in your area that will stop you from paying cash for your brooding business. Mostly through I have found that if I spend somebody a clicks at his home address, there is no problem. Now I realize that in some fields it's not difficult to revert. It's a broadest financially. But that's no reason to not use them. Sales managers are constantly telling me that if you could only get their salesmen to ask for referrals, they would be making more money. Let's talk about that. When you ask a customer for a referral, you are actually doing him a favor. Here's how. Most people like to help others. They enjoy passing along a good tip about a great deal or a nice salesman. If you target them right, they will be happy, tell their friends about you. If the friend also buys, it gives a original customer a good feeling that is he was able to help a friend. Also, almost everyone feels a need to his own horn now and they're reading about of what a good deal they got feels that need. When a friend buys, their recommendations reinforce their belief in their own good judgment. Let's face it, if you and I do the same thing, so the people will like our doctor, dentist, barber, and painter. So why artistic and ask others to help you build your businesses? You both benefit. Get your barber to talk about you. One of my favorite source of products in barbers, they do not a lot of talking to their customers too much. Some people think anyway. I try to get haircut at the different barber shop in my area every time I need on. Thus I can critique among a lot of barbers and recruit them and blister their interest. The way I usually bring with a barber is to bring him a small sign that I have prepared for my big local commercial art studio. It is an essential card and it says, ask me about the best credential in town. I offer signing to be barber. Explain my 50 USD payment and I leave him a stock my cards. Notice that my sign does not maintain card flood. In fact, I tell the barber to ask other customers who are salesmen of their max of cards if they will make the sum 50 payments that I can offer. I tell him to get their cards too. That way when somebody notices the sign and asks him about it, he can ask them what kind of card they want. If they say a bulk, he is a card from the brick salesman of Volkswagen or Fred or whatever. I have put him into business that will make him a lot of extra money if he works it. And I get my share or more than my share of this business. As I said, I have done that with many barbers. I also do it with just about anybody I run into. I don't mean I give out signs to everybody so far. I have only used them with barbers. But you will be surprised who will work for you for then 50 USD. For instance, there is a major manufacturer of pharmaceutical in this area, and this company employs a lot of doctors. I have several doctors at this company among my breed dog, and they are among the most productive on my entry list. They make good of money on their jobs. They work with other people who make good money. They tell it to lot of other doctors and people on hospital suffers and other than people won several cars. Not only that, by they go a lot of meetings and conventions where they run into other doctors and people their industry. It is a big and worthy industry, and this plus in the fact that doctors seem be at least as essential for money as anybody else beats me loud extra business. Among the most important ways I get breedouts, I throw banks, finance companies and credit unions, and talking about the people who approve their loans that many have to get by new cars. Those loan people are not very well paid. In fact, they get paid loosely and bring in the money business and handing out a lot of money other people. So they are glad to earn extra from me at 50 a hand. I got after them. Sometimes I will pick them up name the check of the loan approval that a customer brings in when he is buying a car. After a sale, I'll phone the man the bank of loan office and tell him that I am the guy who just sold a AI Robinson that Metro Carolo. That it was nice doing business with him and his organization. What I went to do, then I take him out to lunch. It does not matter where in the area he is located. I will tell him I just happen to be going to the neighborhood that day and we are arranged to meet at this best restaurant we can think of the around there. Why not? What if it cost me 50 or even 100 for lunch? It's a business expense and British. If I get on extra sales from that lunch and I have made good money on it. When I meet him the restaurant, I tell him our lunch what it's all about. I mentioned that I will pay a reward of 50 USD for every customer who buys from me who brings a card with a name of bag. Or else maybe I will just wait to phone me and mention they're spending somebody over. I tell him how my volume is so that I will understand that I have a lot of satisfied customer. He will also get a message that I can usually bring anybody else down. This offer gets me a chance to bid against a dial from another salesman. Let me explain. Suppose that customer comes into the bank with the order for a car he wants to buy from another dealer. He asks for a loan. The loan offers, which breeds of mine, will lock the total price of the deal. Excuse himself and go into the next room to phone me. He will tell me what kind of car the man is buying, what optional equipment he asks on, and what the price is. I do same quick figuring to see what can I do to beat the price. I try to come up with a figure that's around 200 USD lower than what the man has got from the place he went to buy the other car. Okay. Now suppose that I can come up with a price that is 200 USD lawyer I give to and the loan officer and I him know that I have the car and can do my businesses right. He goes back his office and tells the customer that I can give him the sum at the price that is 200 USD lawyer. If the price is only 100 USD lawyer, the customer may think not it's worth coming to me. After all, my have left as a deposit, say 200 USD or 1300 USD with the other salesman. For 200 sales, he can afford a loss that and see me. Also, the loan officer is going to get 50 USD spending me the deal and so will be incensing the customer much he can, telling him what realizable dealership and salesman and all that. As soon as I have finished telling to the loan officer, I find a car in our inventory as near as possible to on the guy wanted. Strictly I sum few when have in if I can get it quickly from another dealer. I have the shop which if I get it ready to delivery, I know that when his customer comes in, he is going to have his credit approved for the amount he needs on the car. What I have done by making the loan officer bleeding is to put him in a position where he can spend my business I could not possibly have to got any other way. He got me a sales name was already sold by another salesman. He helped his loan customer by saving his money. He earned 50 for himself and he got me a sales. I had no way of thus getting even with a bleeding to feel a price can I have the customer and I am still going to earn some commissions even net with 100 USD from myself of the sale that is still 100 USD I could not have get any other way. That was found money right from the sky into my pocket. Think about that. Think about how I created that extra money for myself. And think about how you can do things like that in your business. Here are some other ways and places that I find people to work for me as brothers. Whenever I buy gas and well, I try to tell to people around the station, especially if I does repair work too. They see a lot of the cars that need to be replaced. When a guy comes in the with a car that needs extensive repair work, same 1000 USD, so he is not very far from starting to think about buying a new car, interested or fixing the old me. If he says he will hold up on having the car fixed, he is already probably beginning to think about buying a new. May take only a round or two from the man. It's a repairing garage to planet the idea of the carving see me with one of my cards in his hand. If the customer is not going to have the work done right away, the mistake is not out anything, it's a borders him to me, and he may make himself 50 years of waste he would not be getting otherwise. Among the best sources of British business are tweezing service, the body termed bump shops. There are a lot of cars have that been tolerated and that is going to be repeated. The owner is going to have to buy a new car, and chances are he is going to be getting a check from the insurance company. People work. Accident insurance claims and sales office are also good choice breeder. Because they don't know our working cars, I try to make contact with all of those people because they're excellent sources of business for me. Reduce your breeders. But once you have made contact and have placed the work about the fee you pay and leave them with the cars, you still have to keep in touch. When things are slow and I have some spare time, I am lucky to go through with my breeders just to see who has not been sending me any business. Then I will call up and short breeders ask how come I have not been spending them any music sex literally. They may just have forgotten if there were no breeders, they may not have got into the habit of suggesting to buying a new car from me. Some of my breeders and me to stream of purpose because they sense opportunities whenever they arise. Others need to be prepared the brink of the relationship and even long after. It's a matter how easily, how hard it's other people to develop the habit and reaching at the right moment to earn that extra energy from me. Everybody has developed new habits. It's took me a while to develop the sense who can produce extra business for me. I keep finding people all the time because I have learned to look for people all the time. Whenever I go to my business health club to work out after business hours, and I make the sure that at the locker room attendant to be measure know what I do and have some of my cards. I don't make a big thing out of it. I get business from other members without breeding. But you always have to wait for opportunities and some things there can certain kinds of the mind will not expect in advance. Consider this one. I get a phone call on afternoon from a fellow who wins a prize on a certain car. There are probably as many ways to handle such phone calls and there are salesmen. I usually take the call and give a price on the phone. Some salesman will give a price, so law of the caller will have to come in. Even though the salesman can possibly drive a car at that price. We call that copying a plum. Some salesmen call it low breeding. All the internet to do is keep the customer from shopping somewhere else. Then what happens is that is comes in and salesman tries to switch him to a different model or other options or else. If he has to, he says that the sales manager would not approve the price and squeezes some more money out of him. I don't approve that practice and neither do other legitimate salesmen. It's a bad business because the customer feels tainted even the buys from you. And if it does not, he writes you of some kind of crop. That means at least 250 people are going to be told that are you a wrong guy? When I get a phone call, I give the caller a legitimate price. We'll talk about the range of price in the businesses in another chapter. But right now, just take me a word for that a salesman he is a very wide range of price that can be quite for a prospect because there does not of models. Many kinds of options in other trees that create 100 even 1000 combinations all the different price. Obviously, when I get the kind of phone call, I want to give the caller a price that will bring him in. He does not mention air conditioning, McWalls, and straw with the AM of FM radio, CD player, and certain. I don't quite him a price with all things on the curve. I don't even want to tell him about extras because I want to quite a price that is low yet legitimate for a car I actually can deliver. I also went to tell to the man long here to find out he's been shopping around and also to learn what he does for a living so I will know the offering to do to him will be easily overheard. I also want to know how much it will be worth to me to deliver the sales this customer even at a very low profit margin, even at a loss. A tribute that works for you. That's right. I may be willing to give up all of my commissions on a sale and even realize my deliver. It looks like a prospect worth selling at less than cost. Let's consider this color. It tells me exactly when to he has on this car. I find out this he has shopped at other deliverers and he gives me the lowest price he has been quite. It turns out that he has a price that I can beat only be losing money out of my pocket. I have been agreement with my dealer to effect that if somebody is really important for us to sell at a loss, I can do if I get permission first, then I make out of my own pocket anything less than dealer to cost I want to sell the car for. Now that is not a solution. I want to be in very often. I like to make money as well as a friends when I sell cars. But something a car can be so important that he is worth the loss to me. And the dealer is willing to let a car go for no intermediate profit to him. At least he gets his money out of in and the readers the inventory, but he is also has to see a reason for no profit right away. In a tropical case, and there are not too many of them, the caller tuned out to be unit chairman of his union in the big covered ports plant. That meant that he had a lot of influence over the lot of people who own the cars. They mostly buy correlates for a lot of observed reasons, including the fact and something cars owned manufacturers are not dirt will be in the parking lots of factories where cars of other manufacturers are made. That's not nice, but it's how it's something in this business. So this follow clips up with this very low price already in hand. I tell him with the good price he has and he works it. Then I tell him on hold on and I click with him the manager about quoting a price or loss and I get the okay and I give the customer price and 50 below. A dealer cost when he hears the price. He knows I have written every other deal because he knows the numbers and many knows I am going to lose on the deal. So he comes in the end amusing this we can't sell him on extra that might raise the price, especially the profit margin a little. He gets delivery on the car at the price I quote and I have to give dealer to 15 USD of my money. What happens now? I have developed at a cost of 15 USD not counting the commissions I did not earn on the sale. I brooding who is well being about the deal he get and told me and my dealer all over his union and his planet to his neighborhood. He told about to me the boys in his brain language and the metro where he gets his board and everywhere else he goes. Of course, when he led with his new car, he also got a shock of my business's cards and a piece about how I pay 15 USD for every sale he sends me.
But even without that, you would send me the relationship a lot of business. You do more than make up more money with lost on him. Since many people tend to brag about how cheap they buy their cars, those who hear him probably wouldn't expect to buy as cheap as he did. And let me assure you that none of them will. My dealer is earned to fair profit and he is to lead to a fair commission. We are not in business to give away medicines, but something that the very best way to build volume and profit. If I get only the regular sales from the customer, I have been more than made back the loss from selling him. And so he's my dealer, but I may see a dozen or more people come in as a result of that on 1500 USD. Seat that I planned, and remember that the 1500 USD in a business expense that I charge up when I figure my tax, so it cost me to pay out of pocket. A lot of times will be appraised by police and suffers the treatment to buy tickets to their special function. Even the mailman have been them in place. I am sure that I have the sense of not turn down people to like for the lot of reasons, especially if you have in business. But I have found that way make first right breeders. So when I get the chance, all their tickets and get other them, I shake up my cards and tell them about my financial policy. The same works for financial organizations. When the people come around selling ads in the program books and their affairs, I always buy an ad, but I don't know to go those that read. Complimentations of a friend might always say something like best wish from the job Girard Merciless carved in. I spend a slack of friend cards with the person who staked the ad. And if I have the time, I go to their functions because they are a good place to meet people and let them know what I do for a living. I know that a lot of people, including distance and insurance salesmen, do same the thing, but they only proves that if a good way to build your businesses. Anybody who tells to other people every day that his work cannot everything. And keep in mind, especially those people who traditionally don't make much money, like the loan offers at banks. Not only do not they get paid much, but they hardly ever they get tricks to loans or get gifts of any kind of their business line. That's a way I always love to tell people like that to loans. They remember it well. It's a big deal to them if you take them a price they really can't afford get into and you spend 20 or 30 direct dollars on them. And I also do something else for them before I go to meet them. I put a half golden bullet or cardinal well wish the back of my car. It happens to be considered one of the top brands in those parts. And after the get out of his car and a will saying goodbye, I reach in bag, hold it up, and say, listen, here is somebody gave me bullet and don't dark mouse children whiskey. So I was wondering if you would not mind taking it, please. So be it always me a persuade him to take it, and every time he pours a drink from that big bottle, he remembers name and what I do for a living and what I can do for him. I have heard other salesmen campaign something about breeders when they first start to use them. On follow said to me, I started giving out cards a month ago, and I have not get single sale from any of them. My answer is always the same. Just be planted. I will plant the seeds, just keep on planting. There will be plenty of harvest. Last year, as I said, I sold about 550 cars through Breedogs. A lot of salesmen will have not happy to be have that as their total sales of the year, and I did not know how many customers I sold through would my mouth of started with the cards I placed out every dog. The chain of endless if you keep it going, and the cost is almost nothing because it's all extra business. Paying 50 can make you hundreds, but you really have to pay it to get that payoff. Thanks for listening.